Republican candidate in the U.S. Senate race here in Kentucky continues to make waves even 6 weeks after the primary election.
Daniel Mangiardo appears no closer to endorsing fellow Democrat Jack Conway. Meanwhile, Republican candidate Rand Paul is in Louisville today and talking with WHAS 11 political editor Joe Arnold. It's our top story now at 5:30.
And so we plan on working very hard to outreach to the conservative Democrats to say...
After dealing with his own controversies for the past 6 weeks, Republican Rand Paul is welcoming turmoil for his Democratic opponent. Jack Conway's primary rival, Daniel Mangiardo, is so far refusing to endorse Conway, telling the Lexington Herald leader that he is, quote, not taking a position in the race.
I think it tells us what we already know, is that there are a lot of conservative Democrats who will see Jack Conway as just too liberal.
And don't forget, Mangiardo had considerable support in the Democratic primary, losing to Jack Conway by only about 1 percentage point.
There's only one choice for you in the fall, and it's Dr. Rand Paul.
Though Paul's primary rival, Trey Grayson, immediately endorsed Paul, the Republican is having to answer questions, like on Mandy Connell's WHAS radio show this morning, why he is not standing by his primary campaign pledge not to accept contributions from senators who voted for the bank bailout.
And when you go and say, well, we're going to do a fundraiser now, it does smack of, well, we're not above them now when they can raise a little money.
Well, I think what I would say is that nothing has changed.
Paul says it's not that he has sold out to the establishment Republicans. Rather, he says, he has won the argument, and they have come around to him.
By going now and working with some Republicans who voted for the other person, it's sort of the traditional way that a primary is run. You win on dividing your party, and in the general, you bring people back together.
And it's not just Republicans that Paul needs. To win a statewide race in Kentucky, any candidate needs to win over conservative Democrats.
And I don't have to change my message, but I need to hear what you're concerned with in order to try to get your vote also.
Democratic insiders say Conway, who is considered to be more liberal than Mangiardo, has to make the same effort. But they say unless Mangiardo not only endorses Conway, but also actively campaigns for him, especially in eastern Kentucky, it's a very tough challenge ahead for Jack Conway, who declined to be interviewed for our story today. Joe Arnold, WHAS 11 News.
And Rand Paul says that he is appointing a lot of former Trey Grayson supporters to be leaders now in his campaign. Meanwhile, the Bowling Green eye doctor also explained why his income skyrocketed last year, as detailed in his personal finance disclosure. Paul says in the previous year his income was lower because he was paying off loans to help establish his solo practice. And for more on this Senate race and tons of other political news, you can go to Joe Arnold's blog at WHAS11.com. Just click on the political blog link right there on our homepage.